Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai's Linux News. This week is packed with exciting developments from the Linux community, and we're starting with some massive improvements coming to Linux 7.3. According to Fornix, the upcoming kernel release is shaping up to be a powerhouse. First up, we've got improvements to RAID 5 and 6 benchmark-based algorithm selection that'll make your storage systems smarter and faster. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The EFI subsystem is getting some critical security love too. Linux 7.3 now enforces timeouts for EFI runtime services instead of potentially hanging indefinitely, which means your system will be way more resilient against buggy firmware. And if you're running modern or legacy GPUs, the Direct Rendering Manager updates are bringing improvements to everything from old AMD Radeon cards to next-gen hardware, with Intel Nova Lake S graphics now enabled by default. The kernel is also introducing new AES encryption APIs that'll unlock serious performance optimizations down the line. Plus, there's a whole wave of input subsystem fixes and security improvements. It's a massive release cycle that shows just how collaborative and thorough the Linux community continues to be. Moving on to some exciting news in communication software. According to its FOSS, TeamSpeak is stepping up its game with a brand new feature that's currently in alpha testing. They're bringing direct calling capabilities to the platform, and here's the really cool part. It's coming with 4K screen sharing and picture-in-picture support. This is a significant move for TeamSpeak as they continue to compete in the VoIP and team communication space. Whether you're gaming with friends, collaborating on work projects, or just catching up, having integrated calling with crystal-clear video and seamless screen sharing could be a game-changer. The alpha testing phase means developers are still refining the experience. So if you're a TeamSpeak user and want to help shape this feature, now's your chance to jump in and provide feedback. Now here's a heartwarming story that shows just how dedicated the open source community can be. As reported by OMG, Ubuntu, a 10-year-old bug report from Ubuntu's Launchpad has sparked an impromptu reunion of former Canonical engineers. The saga started back in 2016 when a user who'd invested £700 in Ubuntu Phone and tablet hardware posted a bug because the official website had no documentation on how to use the devices. Fast forward to 2017, and Canonical discontinued the Ubuntu Phone project, leaving this bug unresolved. But recently, Adolfo Jaime Barrientos from the Ubuntu bug triage team decided to close it out, and that simple action triggered something special. Former developers who'd worked on the project started reconnecting, sharing memories, and reminiscing about their work. While the Ubuntu Phone may be gone, the community spirit and the relationships built during that project clearly endure. It's a reminder that even in hardware and software that gets discontinued, the human connections forged through collaborative work remain valuable. If you're into gaming or graphics-intensive work on Linux, you're going to love this one. Fornix is reporting that Linux 7.3 is landing some seriously impressive graphics driver improvements. We're talking about enhancements that span the entire spectrum of hardware. On the AMD side, developers are working on both legacy Radeon graphics improvements and enabling brand new AMD graphics IP blocks. Intel isn't being left behind either. Nova Lake S graphics are now being enabled by default in this kernel cycle. This is huge because it means kernel support is ready to go for newer Intel GPUs right out of the box. The Direct Rendering Manager updates show just how much collaborative effort goes into supporting the diverse range of GPUs out there in the wild. Whether you're running older hardware you want to squeeze more performance out of, or you've got the latest bleeding-edge GPU, Linux 7.3 has something for everyone. It's a testament to the open-source community's commitment to supporting a wide range of hardware across multiple generations. Alright, we need to talk about something serious. Fornix is reporting a significant security vulnerability in the NTFS 3 driver that's been left unaddressed since being reported earlier this summer. Here's what's alarming. A specially crafted NTFS file system image, potentially delivered via a USB flash drive or external storage, can allow an unprivileged user to gain root access to a Linux system. This is a critical issue that needs immediate attention. If you're using Linux and regularly mount NTFS file systems from external sources, you should be aware of this vulnerability. The fact that it's been sitting unpatched for months is concerning, so stay tuned for updates on whether a fix gets prioritized. In the meantime, Be cautious about connecting unknown external drives to your Linux system, especially if they contain NTFS partitions. Security is always a moving target, but this is one we definitely want to see resolved quickly. Here's a fun update that shows even the Linux creator himself is embracing AI tools for development work. According to its FOSS, Linus Torvalds recently used artificial intelligence to help fix a kernel bug that was giving him trouble. Now, this isn't about AI completely solving the problem. It's more about how it can assist in the debugging process. Torvalds had to go through 18 different boot cycles to isolate and fix what turned out to be a one-line issue. That's where AI came in handy, helping him narrow down the problem space and eventually land on the solution. It's a really interesting real-world example of how even seasoned kernel developers can benefit from AI-assisted tools, not as a replacement for expertise, but as a complement to it. The fact that it took human judgment and multiple iterations alongside AI assistance really highlights that these tools are best used as collaborators rather than replacements. It's yet another sign of how the Linux development process continues to evolve with modern technology. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about a storage upgrade. Phoronix is reporting that OpenZFS 2.4.4 has just been released, and it brings support for Linux 7.2 along with dozens of bug fixes and improvements. For those using ZFS on Linux or FreeBSD systems, this is an important update that keeps your file system implementation current and secure. OpenZFS continues to be one of the most robust and feature-rich file system options available in the open-source world, with capabilities for snapshots, compression, and data integrity checking that are second to none. This release shows the ongoing commitment from the OpenZFS community to keep the software in sync with the latest kernel releases. If you're running ZFS, definitely check out the release notes and plan your upgrade accordingly. It's these kinds of point releases that keep the entire Linux ecosystem running smoothly and securely. And wrapping up our main stories, here's something really cool about the open-source community stepping up. According to Phoronix, Apple's HFS and HFS Plus file system support in Linux had been looking pretty bleak. Back in early 2025, there was serious talk about dropping support entirely because the code had been orphaned for over a decade and was becoming a maintenance burden. But here's where the community shines. Developers actually stepped up to maintain the old Apple file system support. Fast forward to today, and it's turned out to be a real success story. Linux 7.3 continues to include more HFS and HFS Plus fixes, meaning you can still reliably read and interact with older Apple file systems on Linux. It's a great example of how open-source projects can pivot when faced with challenges. Instead of abandoning legacy support, passionate developers ensured continuity. Whether you're working with older Mac hardware or just appreciate the preservation of technological history, this is definitely a win for the Linux ecosystem.